James and Lacey here from Sweet Science of Fighting with another breakdown for you. My daughter's in bed, so it's time to film a little video for you guys. Try and keep up with getting a few more out each week, but today we're going to cover Islam Makhachev's strength and conditioning. So I think this is just a bunch of clips put together that someone put together on YouTube at least. I don't think we need the sound, so we'll put that down. So we're going to run through again. This is nothing against anything, none of the fighters, coaches, anything like that. Just my opinions, personal preferences, etc. And just try to break things down for you so you can understand kind of what's going on. So we've got some plyometric actions there, lateral versions, I guess you could say submaximal, going for reps, solid thing to do. That looks like, okay, that's an interesting barbell exercise here. So this looks like it's, at least from the Russian Eastern Bloc, I guess, training philosophy, you'll see a lot of, I guess you could call them unconventional exercises that they've come up over the years from various Olympic sports that they've been training. This looks like it's one of those where it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I can't really explain it, but it's, I guess you could say it's quote unquote specific to wrestling and grappling. So it's double underhand, like you've got, I don't know, it could even be like you got double unders. I mean, you probably won't have two hands under. It could be, honestly, I'm doing a poor job of explaining that. But either way, it's actually probably not a bad exercise, depending on how it's done. Then we have a plate uppercut. Again, another, I guess you could say, special strength exercise, specifically overloading the muscles involved in the uppercut. We then have a dumbbell version of it. Now, you know, not a huge fan of dumbbell shadow boxing, but you know, in certain circumstances, it could potentially be useful, but it's not very often. Then we're on a little special piece of apparatus here. This would be a load bike. So this is what proper sprint interval training looks like. So this here adds a little bit of loads. You can kind of typically, when you're doing something like this, at least within the research, you're looking at around 7.5% of your body mass added to this. So it's pretty brutal. And then here he's doing, I think it was 6 to 10 second sprints, and it's going to be all out maximal. Like, this is maximal effort here, and that's what you want out of your sprints if you're doing them on a bike here. So that's really good to see. He's not playing around there. Back into the gym here. So we got just some deadlifts. So with the deadlift setup, if you're going to use the conventional deadlift, let me see if I can get him on the floor here. So, yeah. So his, oh my gosh, sorry guys. So his setup needs to be more like this off the floor. So if I go back to where he's on the floor again, see if I can pause it. See how, even back a frame, but he's a little more, almost too far behind the bar and too upright. So his hips are too low at the bottom. And you can see before the bar even comes off the floor, and even as it comes off the floor, his hips rise. And you don't want your hips to rise in a deadlift or any kind of Olympic weightlifting derivative either. You want to sit to the point where your hips stay stable and you can push through your legs to get the bar moving. So his hips come up first before he starts to move the bar. So you'd want to start with your hips higher in that position, create that tension, and then push through the floor with your legs to initiate the deadlift versus having your hips too low in that position. Regarding the neck position, honestly, I don't think it matters too much. You kind of just go with what's comfortable. I mean, ideally don't look at the roof, but you know, having the head up and forward versus packing your neck and having it like a neutral spine, I don't think it matters that much, to be honest. So you can see each time his hips come up first, which is why you should set those hips a little higher in that instance. And then we got some box squats. Those look solid. Nothing wrong with doing half squats as a combat athlete. Not everything has to be done full depth all the time. Typically, you want to spend a lot of your time doing full range of motion squats, but you know, if you're heading into training camp or coming up to a fight, shortening the range of motion is always a good idea. You can use heavier loads. It's less fatigue. Some of the research shows it transfers better to jumping and sprinting performance, which technically, if you extrapolate that a little further, maybe is better for power development, at least in those activities. So it's likely beneficial. We then have some road work and some push-ups. Nothing really to add there. There's a lot of push-ups. Then looks like we're back in Dagestan, I guess. I guess you make do with what equipment you have, right? So sledgehammer on the tire. So if you haven't done this before, it's actually brutal on your grip. So it's actually a really nice grip exercise to do. If you have this option, it's good. You can add this to your conditioning if you like. There's nothing special and magical about it, but it's definitely something you can do. And then it's not box jumps, it's tree stump jumps. Solid. I mean, when this is your training yard, you do what you can with what you have. What else have we got? And then just some swimming. So, yeah, I mean, people will talk about various forms of cardiovascular activity. You know, running is typically seen as the gold standard thing that everyone should do. That is not true. You don't have to run if you don't want to run. Swimming's another option. You know, these are just kind of general modalities you're using to develop or do the volume you need to develop those aerobic adaptations, because initially it is volume that you need to do it, and it's not just intensity. Intensity can come a little later, but to set that base with the volume, you don't have to pound the roads every single day. You can jump on the pool, you can hop on the bike, you can get on the roller, etc., and you can just develop general capacities through all those. You can also do your skill work to help develop those capacities as well, which is typically the best idea. Obviously, that kind of depends on your schedule, your skill level, etc. But if you're spending, like a professional fighter, a lot of time in the gym, sometimes twice a day, it's good to get outside of that and do something a little different for your general training. But I think that covers everything in this video. There's not too much else to add. It's actually, the training's not half bad. I mean, just from the little clips we've seen, especially compared to some of the other ones we've broken down on the channel before. So if you like this, make sure you go watch those and subscribe. We're getting some more subscribers liking these videos. And if there's anything you want to see, let me know in the comments and I'll break those down for you.